Today, we celebrate the feast of the presentation of the Lord to the temple. In the old days, before Vatican II, the Christmas season ended on this particular day. But after the liturgical reform, after Vatican II, the Christmas season was shortened and ends on the feast of the baptism of the Lord. But this feast was kept, mostly because of the people's devotion. Way back, people loved this particular detail, aspect, a highlight that look once for everybody to know. When this feast falls on Sunday, all the readings, for example, the ordinary time, today should be the fourth Sunday, I believe, gives way to these particular readings. Doesn't follow any sequence because we left the baby Jesus 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Jesus was already baptized, and last Sunday, he was proclaiming God's kingdom. So doesn't obey to the sequence of the liturgical calendar strictly. Anytime we can reflect on this feast. And the beautiful point is that God came as a light for all peoples to see. It has also a sad side that we have also to reflect. We celebrated the feast of the wise men coming from the east, from the Gentile world, only guided by a star, the knowledge that they could use to discover that the King of the Jews was born. Jerusalem, which means the priests, the Levites, the scribes, the Pharisees, they knew. When they came to Jerusalem, remember that everybody was shaken, says Matthew and Luke. Here, ask quickly, where is to be born? And the knowledgeable people told him, in Bethlehem of Judah, as it is written, and so and so. But none of them dared to go and pay him homage as the wise men said, and never rested until they found the baby. Here began planning his death right away. Jerusalem didn't do any. It's a mystery. The long-awaited Messiah. God's people did not bother to go and recognize the newborn king, the Messiah. A puzzle indeed. Luke also tells us the story at the beginning of the New Testament. God knocking the door to enter into this world. And that was Mary, kind of a teenager at that time. That was the age that got married. Mary was espoused to Joseph, as we know the story, and she wonders how this can be. She could not understand anything except her willingness to accept what God will ask of her. Let it be done to me. And the Word of God, through whom all things were made, entered into the temple of her womb, where Jesus began to take form, a human being, in everything like us, except sin. But Mary could not understand indeed everything. That is the way Luke presents Mary all the time. She's just observing, living day to day, the great mystery of the Lord's presence in our life. But today the highlight are these two elderly people, Simeon and Anna, representing, according to Luke, the faith of Israel reduced to a few groups they called the remnant of Israel. Not everything was lost. These great people kept the fire going, the fire of faith. That was enough, the blood of the Spirit, to make this come back in flames, alive, for people to see. And that's what happened. They are able to recognize the Lord when Mary and Joseph entered the temple with this baby. The Spirit was with them. As the Spirit was in Jerusalem also, with the people, and with the prophets who announced it, with John the Baptizer. They are able to recognize and talk great things about him. But then that prophecy that Luke wants to use exactly because when he wrote the gospel, there were many who did not happen to know who Jesus was. They heard the story. And people began to suffer, to be scandalized. The Son of God died, was crucified. It's a big scandal. Cannot be. So Luke writes this prophecy to help the people understand that the Messiah will be a sign of contradiction. Because the message, the light he brought to the world was God's love. God's love that cannot be put to death or to disappear. A love who has to shine as the light of the world. So Jesus began his ministry among the Gentile people. He was criticized soon for being among sinners. Everything he did, people did not like it. Nothing good could come from Nazareth, they said. He cannot be the Messiah. So we find that different people were expecting different Messiah according to their own desire. And the Messiah was only one, the Word of God. God is only one. And his love is for everybody. So he came to show how great it is, at the end, we human beings are. And how great it is to love human beings. Jesus is exactly in love of human beings to death, to the cross. He said, I give my life because I want to. Nobody can take this away from me. And of course, he proved that it was not easy. At the end, we know at the cross, he experienced the tragedy of dying, abandoned. Even the Father couldn't be seen so clear. Where are you, Father? And of course, God the Father has the last word. When he expires, the Son, then he completes what he said, his mission. He came to show that love cannot be put out. God the Father spoke and the Lord is risen. He dwells among us. This love cannot be killed. So we are now that particular light that Christ came to share with everybody. He told us clearly, you are the light of the world. In baptism, we are told, mostly to the parents and sponsors, because the majority were baptized babies, keep this flame, given a candle in their hands, referring to the newly baptized, keep this candle lit, this flame of faith alive, until the Lord comes to welcome that particular baby into his temple, into glory, into his kingdom. The Lord is the one who is going to welcome us at the end into his kingdom. So this phrase is just beautiful. No wonder it remained. Because we have to think in today's ways of our lives and times, we are the new Anna and Simeon. We are the ones able to recognize the Christ in one another. People have to be able to see our light, which is Christ's light. As it is our joy, responsibility, of course, but mostly it's normal. If we were lit in the light of Christ, necessarily we have to shine forth. People have to see. So this is a beautiful holiday. The Gentiles are the ones who recognize the Messiah against all odds. People thought they were not loved by God, and they were dead wrong. They welcomed the Messiah. We remember also this Roman centurion when Jesus died in Mark. When he saw him dying, he said, this man truly was the Son of God. What did he see in his dying that he made him to believe a pagan? This sublime love, probably. The love Jesus wanted to show to all of us. So today we remember our responsibility and our joy, our privilege. We are the light of the world. Let us all keep this light alive until the Lord comes to welcome us into his kingdom.